Esther Kiobel and a group of Nigerian people allege that many of their family relatives were tortured, detained, deprived of their property, and forced into exile by their own Nigerian government. Due to this, they filed a putative case action under the Alien Tort Statute. The District Court of New York dismissed the claims against the corporation. Both petitioner and respondent appealed to the Second Circuit Court, where the respondent argued that the law of nations does not attach to civil liability to corporations, and the petitioner argued that it should be attached due to corporate actors just as it would for private actors. After the Second Circuit Court dismissed the case, stating that the ATS does not confer jurisdiction over suits against corporations. As we know, the petitioner filed another rehearing of the case, but they denied it. The ATS states that the district court shall have original jurisdiction of any civil action by alien or tort only committed in violation of the law of nations or a treaty of the United States, which means that corporations that work out of the United States still, in the most part, have responsibilities. Royal Dutch committed serious human rights violations, which led to many deaths.
Can you please slow down?
Okay. Royal Dutch committed serious human rights violations, which led to many deaths, considering that they claim that they are not liable. Under what circumstances can you argue that committing genocide isn't a violation of these people's right to live? The court should clearly decide whether corporations are liable for human rights affairs under the ATS and what are the regulations. As well, the court should be able to distinguish whether corporations can be sued as people or as a company as a whole. So I'd like to move on to my first argument. The ATS does not limit ATS jurisdiction to a specific class of defendants, which would fall under Royal Dutch, since they claim that they're not liable for the human rights violations. The court has held that the ATS authorizes the recognition of federal common law causes of action for a limited category of violations of the law of nations. By confusing the question of whether causes of action for violations of the law of nations switch corporations with the issues of subject matter jurisdiction, the Kiobel majority made the precise error the court identified in Morrison. Moving on to my second argument. Because ATS is silent as to the identity of the defendants, the question of who can be sued under the ATS is not jurisdictional.
Why isn't it jurisdictional?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, why is it not jurisdictional?
It's not jurisdictional because, they pretty much, committed all these crimes in Nigeria, and they were, killing these people for actual no real reason, because they could have just made an agreement. So
can you prove that they didn't make an agreement?
I can't prove. Well, honestly, I don't. In anywhere of this case, I really didn't see any treaties or any paperwork that they could have been taken place. So I don't know.
Alright, so this case was filed by 12 Nigerians, and it was towards a company that basically operates in Britain and Netherlands, correct?
Correct.
What does this have to do with the United States? Is there any direct contact with the United States in this particular situation?
In our reality, there's not as much as you might think there is, but which is why these Nigerian people sued under the Alien Tort Statute, because that's what the Alien Tort Statute is for. So they're protected under this. They're protected under it since the Alien Tort Statute pretty much is to protect to protect people from violations and stuff. So in case a situation like this, the United States could interfere and try to settle things down.
So there's no direct contact. There's no direct interference in the situation by the United States.
No.
Then why is it in our courts?
It's in your courts because these Nigerian people were being killed and tortured for no reason, so obviously they were going to want to do something about it. If they were exiled by their own government, they had a real reason to try to allege to our courts, so we could do something, since their government wasn't going to really take part and wasn't going to take their opinion in consideration. since the royal judge pretty much told them what to do with their own people. The United States can kind of go, not interfere and try to put everything back into place and try to like help these people who were like killed, like who were injured, because I'm pretty sure people were injured as well, not only killed but injured. So you could help and try to make some sort of law or like rules that regulate these people so they won't go into a foreign country and start like mass killing people.
Counselor, doesn't SOSA state that we must consult international law, not our domestic law, which would be the ATS, when dealing with this kind of corporate liability, to recognize it?
Can you repeat the question?
Doesn't SOSA state...
Good morning, Your Honors. Me and my co-counselor, Mariana Amy, are here and the side of the respondents. The question is if Kiobel can be able to sue the company, the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria, a foreign company based in Nigeria itself, by the massive genocide killings that they performed in Nigeria. So the question is, if they can sue with the Alien Tort Statute, I believe that is wrong because the only involvement of the United States is the statute itself. The company is not an American company, it is from Nigeria. Also, it's the fact of the matter of the
Counselor, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Would you say that the ATS allows corporations to sue other corporations or anything else like that? Does the ATS allow corporations to sue?
Does the ATS, well, if it can go one way to the, if it goes to that, I'm going to say this. Citizens can sue a corporation. So, in response, a corporation should be able to sue another corporation. Because
Okay, so if a corporation can sue another corporation, why can't the corporation be sued?
why can't the corporation? Because the corporation has more than one people under its name.
Counselor, you do realize that we do have precedent that establishes corporate personhood, which means they can be considered as a person.
Exactly. But
So they should be able to be sued.
But the question is this an American company? Why should they be sued if they're not from America? If they're not from the United States, they shouldn't be able, the only involvement that is actually involved within this case is that of the ATS is that the ATS is being used.
Isn't that what the ATS is for?
The ATS is for American companies in itself.
The ATS states that foreign people can sue others. That's basically what it says. It's not just for...
But it's not our subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor, because in this case you would have to go to the International Criminal Court. This is a Nigerian situation that wants to be held up in the United States.
That's where the alien percentage is for.
Counselor, can you actually define the ATS for me?
The ATS is a section of the United States Code that reads, the district court shall have original jurisdiction of any civil action by an alien for a tort only, committed in violation of the law of nations or a treaty of the United States. The statute is notable for allowing United States courts to hear human rights cases brought by foreign citizens for conduct committed outside the United States. Right?
Just said it is used for human rights outside of the United States, foreign states.
But that's what we also have the International Criminal Court.
But does the International Criminal Court hold corporations liable for these actions?
Well, who is to be held liable should be the Nigerian government. Yes, but under the Nigerian government. So like, no, wait, hold on. No. Hold on. Confused.
Because corporations aided the military, the Nigerian military. So is there going to be a distinction between aiding and abetting?
The point of the matter is that the government should not be able to take a hearing of an international situation. I mean,
Why not if, oh, go ahead.
why? Because international problem that has to be settled within the United States, then how are we supposed to be handling on themselves? Other than that, the United States has no direct involvement with this either. And the United States is not responsible for other corporations unless it has a direct involvement within the United States, such as the company being based in the United States.
So if the United States has nothing to do with it, then where do they sue? So you're gonna solve it by yourselves? Are you gonna deal with it?
They have to solve it in their own system of government.
Obviously, it's a big deal if they're going to
If it is a big deal, then they should be going to the International Criminal Court, which deals with massive genocides and other situations such as this within the country itself by the people themselves.
Well, of course corporations don't want to go to the ICC because the ICC doesn't hold corporations liable for these actions.
But, okay, if the corporations are not held liable for these actions, then it should be the people in charge of these corporations that should be held liable.
How do you plan on persecuting a whole corporation under the ICC?
How do you plan? You plan by